Hello everyone, I'm Wes, and today Pizza and I have decided to participate into the official Discord tournament of War Selection, and so it is a 2v2 in double population, and our first match will be against Undivided, and we are Ancestral. And so for this match, Pizza will have the color of red and I will have the color of blue. I decided to go with a replay of the match. Like this I can accelerate the economic part of the game, but without making it too fast. Like this you can still keep up with everything we're doing. Also guys, the reason why I'm showing this game in a replay and not live is because Pizza is a French player, and so when we are doing the tournament together, we are talking in French. And so I'm gonna go through that replay with you, talking in English, trying to give you a little bit the overall of what we did, but obviously you won't see all the detail as I am playing live. So my first move here was just to start exploring a little bit all around my base, making some houses while exploring. Like this I was able to see if there were some fish close of my base. At the same time, Pizza was just focusing economically, so our goal was really to pass as quick as possible toward the Bronze Age, just to be able to have a very solid army to defend ourselves. So the first goal of our strategy was to make 7 to 8 houses and to build a temple to be able to pass at the Bronze Age as fast as possible. While I'm building my temple, you're also going to notice of very soon I'm going to keep producing some houses just to be able to always keep going with the production of worker, which is very important in a double population tournament. The reason why Pizza and I have decided to go with that kind of strategy, so a little bit more economically at the beginning of the game, just to be able to rush very quickly Bronze Age, it was to be able to counter very efficiently a warrior rush. And so that strategy will allow us, you will see, to have a very quick production of pikemen and to counter attack very quickly too. So as we expected, the opposite team, so Undivided, have decided to go with a very aggressive push with a Stone Age warrior rush. And so because of our opponent are going with the warrior rush, we can expect few barrack, a lot of houses, obviously the stone cutter to make those upgrades, and to have a rush, I will say, between 6 minutes and 7 minutes 30. That also means that our strategy will be very efficient against them, just because our goal was really to have a very fast production of Warrior 2, to be able to defend ourselves if we do not have the time to modernize those one into the pikeman, but without making any upgrade, because like this, with the prediction of those warriors in our base, we do not need the upgrade really to be able to defend ourselves, even if the other warriors of the opponent are a little bit stronger. In the same time, if we did have the time to reach the Bronze Age and have the first barrack of the Bronze Age, that's also allow us, if you have the resources to do it, to modernize all those warriors, and that give us the pikemen, which are way better in a group against the warriors. So in my berries right now, there's one of the scouts of the enemy, so I know he has spotted me, and that's why I decided to not upgrade all my workers into the Bronze Age and save my food to start producing a lot of warriors right away. But I did a little mistake here, is I should at least have modernized a few workers to start to do my poultry to be able to get more food with some bird. And so you're gonna notice very quickly of I'm gonna put my poultry down, but I'm gonna be lacking of food to be able to produce more warriors, which is gonna be an issue. And so I'm gonna need to catch up a little bit on my mistake to be able to get that food and to produce more warriors. And so I'm gonna start building my poultry, and you can also notice of in the back of my base, I have already five pit to be able to produce a lot of warriors in case of I need more to defend myself, even if right now I'm lacking of food obviously. And behind that, I got a barracks who's gonna allow me to transform almost warrior eventually into Bronze Age units. And so at this point of the game, I have the little first wave attacking me. That wave is mainly usually trying to make some economic damage to the enemy, and so I counter it very well with all my warriors who was already in my base, and I start to put some workers into my food too to start to get more food to be able to stop the next wave. On Pizza's side, everything was going very well. Economically speaking, he had that time to modernize all his workers, he had his poultry, also he had few barracks to be able to have a very fast reproduction of army, and he didn't get rushed early game, so that's also put him in a very good position to keep focusing on his economy and starting to producing a very big army. On my side, I was hitting with another little wave of the yellow players, and so I was defending myself while macroing in my base for my economy, and also after I get rid of those little warriors who was still left in my base, I have started to clear all my zone from all the hostile animal. In the same time, in Pizza's base, he was doing the exact same thing, so he was hunting all the dangerous animal out on his base while macroing his economy. On the other side of the map, the yellow player decided to keep going with the warrior rush but on another level, so he was gonna make more barracks, also more houses, just to be able to produce a very bigger army on his side. For the orange player, he finally decided to attack with his warriors. Unfortunately for him, that attack was a little bit too late. It was already about 10 minutes when he decided to attack Pizza, so his attack will not be very efficient as Pizza is already ready with a big army of pikemen to stop him. As you can see, as soon as Pizza saw his enemy on his territory, he right away turned every single warriors he had into pikemen, ready to be able to counter him very easily. On my side of the map, I kept producing a lot of warriors and pikemen just to be able to defend myself because I knew of if that two ways didn't pass, he was really going to go forward with a very huge army, rather of warriors or with pikemen. And so I really need to prepare myself to be able to stop that push. Finally, the orange player decided to engage Pizza. He tried to avoid his army to focus his economy, so you're gonna see him running all around his base, and I'm gonna let you watch that little fight over here. I thought it was warrior in the minimap going toward Pizza, but it's actually some workers who just gathering some food. So we can see bit by bit the orange player losing his army against Pizza's army. He was trying to deal some production damage and economic damage to Pizza, but obviously with the production of Pizza inside his own base and his army who was already here ready for him, he didn't have the chance to do a lot of damage to Pizza. On my side of the map, I was getting back on my feet of that little mistake who cost me a lot with that Paldery early game, and so economically speaking, I was doing better and better. Also, my army was getting a little bit bigger and I was ready to counter the next army of the other players. Here Pizza lost his Paldery, but there was a big deal here because right now he did have very good economy flowing and he had two little warehouse right beside his Paldery where all this chicken was standing, and so he was still able to gather some food, and that Paldery will be built back up very quickly after that. On my side, I decided to clear the way from all hostile animal toward the yellow players just to be able to attack him quickly if I needed to, and also I wasn't sure what he was doing because it's already been a few minutes he didn't show any other wave of his rush, and so I was expecting him to make a very big attack very soon, and I wanted to be able to see what was going on in his base. Halfway toward this territory, both of our army met each other on the boundaries of our territories, and so I was a little bit surprised by that, but in the same time I was expecting an attack very soon, and so what I did, I just back up a little bit with my front line of my army to make sure all my army was well together to take that fight. After that fight in the middle of the map, I knew I was in a good position because he did attack me 3 times in a row, and that's mean during that time I was keeping going toward the Iron Age bit by bit and focusing on my economy. At the same time, in my base, I started to build a dock just to be able to start fishing. For the counter-attack, we have decided to attack separately because we knew of Pizza have a very huge advantage right now economically and with his army on the orange player, and so I knew he will be okay to eliminate him right away from the game. On my part, I was just trying to attack the yellow player to make sure he's not gonna send his army south to try to help his friend. Obviously, because of my army I sent was a leftover of the 2 wave I defend earlier, I knew I will not be able to really make any impact on that side of the map. It was really just to keep the pressure and do an act of presence on his territory to make sure he's not leaving his base while Pizza was doing his attack down south. As you can see already, the orange player didn't have nothing to defend himself at this point of the game, and his economically was really behind the one of Pizza. And so for Pizza, it was very easily to just go through and go snipe his base right away. And so that was the end for the orange player, well played to him. And then after that, what happened is the yellow player decided to attack again with another warrior's army to go to Pizza's base and snipe his main building. On my point of view, as soon as I see his army leaving the fog of war, I did send my army after him, but unfortunately for me, he did quit the fog of war a little bit more south, and that gave him an advance on our army to reach Pizza. Also, that's here the little mistake of Pizza is he didn't retreat with his army toward his base to defend himself. He thought of he will be able to produce another army inside his base, but he got some population issue and he did block with the number of army he was able to spawn in his base. And so that really put him in a very bad position. I did try to help him, but my army was a little bit too far behind. Unfortunately for Pizza, that was the end of the game for him, but he did play extremely well that game. Economically speaking, he really nailed it, and also his army really made a huge difference in all that game. And so now I was just really trying to focus economically to have a very good bank of resources because I really wanted to go toward those heavy spearmen to really have a big impact on the battlefield. He did leave me a little gift though. Just before dying, Pizza sent all his army toward the Yellow's base to be able to put some pressure on him and also to try to kill everything he could automatically with his army. In my base, in the same time, I was setting up a little bit of tower all around, just to make sure of if I'm attacking the yellow players, he won't let stick in behind me and try to kill my workers with few warriors. All the Pac-Man of Pizza is now already dead, and the yellow player already have around 40 warriors, and his prediction was going forward. On my side of the map, I was trying to gain some time to be able to make that transition toward the heavy spearman, and so I was making a little army of Bronze Age to be able to attack him and really keep the pressure on his side of the map. And so for that fight, he had a total of around 60 warriors, considering of he did have the prediction of warriors right behind him too. On my side, I did have 38 pikemen of the Bronze Age with a little technology of the metal tips. And so that attack cost me a good numbers of those pikemen, but at least I did keep the pressure on his side for a moment, which allowed me to gain a little bit more time to make a transition toward those heavy pikemen and also to do the research of the armory to be able to have a bigger reserve of pikemen inside my barracks. At this moment, I think the yellow thought of he did have the advantage on me because he did kill that army of pikemen I sent him earlier, and he had a very fast prediction of warriors. Unfortunately for him, I did have a very good prediction with all my barracks, and also I was just actually trying to gain some time to make that transition toward those heavy spearmen. But when I saw him coming with his warrior, I actually right away started producing a lot of those Bronze Age pikemen to be able to defend myself. At this point when he saw my army, he realized I really had a very good prediction too, and he just wanted to try to go around my army to be able to make some economic damage or to destroy my production. So I just keep following him until he decided to engage, which also allowed me to get more pikemen and to again gain a little bit more time to reach those heavy pikemens. At some point I also needed to split my army in two because he did add some reinforcement coming right behind that army, and I didn't want that reinforcement to be able to pass through my tower to go kill my workers. He did try to split the army another time to try to attack me behind my line while attacking me with the majority of his army, but I had the advantage to have that little Glyph who was actually protecting my base, and so the only way for him to reach my base was to pass by the left side where all my towers were and my army was waiting to. Also, another good news for me is my heavy pikeman was right on time when he did decide to engage me. And so I was able to defend very well against that split attack, and that's also allowed me to have a very good counter attack in coming toward him. And so now I started to push away his second army who was incoming toward my base, and I start chasing him toward his base. At this point of the game, the yellow player have decided to make few towers to try to make a line of defense just to be able to hold me and gain some time on the side of the map. But on my side, I really had a very good prediction incoming of a Visperman, and I knew I had a very solid economy, so I have decided to keep pushing toward him to destroy his base. That battle lasted for a little bit, but at the end I did won that fight, and I was able to destroy those towers to be able to keep pushing toward his base. I was now ready to attack the yellow player with all my army. When I saw he already had another reproduction, I decided just to back up a little bit to make sure of all of my army was really grouped up together, and I had right behind me a little more reinforcement of some heavy pikemen. As soon as I knew I had enough of those pikemen, I did go back forward and attack him. And so for this last fight, I had around 30 heavy pikemen and around 45 light pikemen, and also more reinforcements coming from my base. On his side, he had about 62 warriors, and also he had some archer who was in production inside his barracks. So that was very well played of our opponent, so GG Undivided. And the next replay I'm going to show you is going to be Ancestral against Green Powers into the second round of the tournament. I really hope you guys enjoyed that replay of the tournament 2v2 double population of the official Workstation Discord. If you like it, you can follow me, and also you will notice in my description the link toward my Twitch channel if you want to see me playing live. On that, I see you in the next one.